Hi everyone, today we are going to learn about how to write functions and models. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you some key information about quadratics, and I'm going to ask you to write an equation in either standard form, vertex form, or intercept form. And so this is kind of a nice lesson to bring everything together and to end the quadratic unit. This lesson is going to be a hybrid lesson, which means that I'm not going to teach you everything of this lesson. And that's because part of this lesson requires you to have a graphing calculator, and I cannot guarantee that everybody in the class has a graphing calculator. So the second part of this video will be taught in class the next time I see you. But before we get started, I would like you to please go ahead and complete this warm-up, where I want you to expand the expression by either using the distributive property or FOIL. And when you come up with an answer for all three, go ahead and restart the video to see how well you did. All right. So whenever you have two parentheses next to each other, we know to FOIL. So I'm going to multiply my first term times my first term to get 6x squared. And then we have 3 times 3, which is 9, so minus 9x. And then 1 times 2 is plus 2, so plus 2x. And then 1 times negative 3, which is minus 3. Combining my like terms, we have 6x squared minus 7x minus 3. Our next example, we have negative 3x times x plus 4, and I'm going to distribute that to each term. So I have negative 3x squared minus 12x. And finally, we have x plus 3 times x minus 3. Hopefully this looks familiar to you, that your answer is going to be a dot, a difference of two squares. And the way that you can tell is that every term is in the middle, every term is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is one has a plus and one has a minus. So our answer is going to be x squared minus 9. And the reason why I had you guys expand and use the distributive property is because that's going to be something that you will be doing a lot or working with in this lesson. So our learning objective for today is I want you to be able to say, I can write quadratic functions in vertex form, standard form, and intercept form, given key information about the parabola. So given the vertex or the x-intercepts or simply just points on the parabola. Based on that key information, I want you to be able to write a quadratic equation. Next, I want you to be able to say, I can use regression feature on my graphing calculator to identify the best fitting quadratic function to my data. So I'm going to give you ordered pairs, and I'm going to ask you to use a graphing calculator in order to write an equation in standard form. But like I said to you at the very beginning of this lesson, that's something that we're going to do in class and not as a part of this video. So let's go ahead and look at the vertex form. So whenever you write an equation in vertex form, it's nice to remember what vertex form looks like. And that's going to be y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So in order for us to write an equation in vertex form, what you're going to need is you're going to need the vertex and you're going to need another point. So these are the things that you're going to need. You're going to need your vertex and you're going to need one other point. And that's the information that's going to be given to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to substitute the values for your vertex in for h and k. So you're going to receive a vertex. And then you're going to substitute the values of the other point for x and y. So you're going to need a vertex, which is going to be hk. And you're going to have one other point, which is going to be xy. And the thing that's missing is your a value. So then you're going to solve for your missing value called a. And then once you know what a is, then you're going to rewrite your final answer in vertex form, remembering that x and y will remain as variables. So let me go through these 4 steps again through example number 1. In example number 1, we want to write a quadratic equation for the parabola shown in vertex form. So in this case, I have my vertex. My vertex is located at -2, -3. And I'm also given another point. That point in this case is 0, 5. What I don't know yet is a, so that's what I'm going to find. So in the equation y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k, I know that my y value is going to be 5, my x value is going to be 0, my k value is -3, and my h value is going to be -2. So I'm going to substitute these values into my formula, into my function rule for vertex form. So I'm going to write 5 is equal to a, that's the part I don't know, times x is 0, minus h is -2 squared, then plus k, so that's plus -3 or simply -3. A negative makes a plus, and now I have 0 plus 2, which is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So this is now 5 is equal to 4a minus 3. So once again, what I did here is I went 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So a times 4 can be written as 4a. Now I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I end up with 8 is equal to 4a. Dividing both sides by 4, we find that a is equal to 2. So now that I know that a is equal to 2, I can rewrite my function in the vertex form using just a, h, and k. So this is going to be y equals 2 times x minus -2 squared minus 3. Cleaning up my minus -2, I'm going to change that to x plus 2. And that is my equation. Y equals 2 times x plus 2 squared minus 3. All right, so that was vertex form. So now we're going to look at intercept form. And so we want to write an equation in intercept form. It's nice to remind ourselves of what that looks like. So that's y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. So the key information in intercept form are your x-intercepts and your a value and one other point. So on your graph or on the information that's going to be given to you, you will simply need your x-intercepts and you're going to need one other point. So those are the pieces of information that you are going to need. So you're going to substitute the values of your x-intercepts in for p and q. That's going to represent your x-intercepts. You're going to plug them into the equation for p and q. Then we're going to substitute the values of the other point, and that's going to be simply an xy. And then you're going to solve for a. You're going to find your value of a. And once you know what a is, you're going to write your final answer in intercept form, remembering that x and y remain as variables. So in this problem, I can identify that my p and q values are, we have our x-intercepts are located at -3, 0, and 2, 0. So that means my p value is going to equal -3, and my q value is going to equal 2. I'm also given one other point. So your other point is -2, -4. So I'm going to let x equal -2, and I'm going to let y equal -4, and I'm now going to find my a value. So I'm plugging this into y is equal to a times x minus p times x minus q. My y value in this case is -4, so I'm going to write -4 equals a, which that's what I want to find, times x is -2, minus p, so that's minus -3, times x, which is -2, minus my q value, which is 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up these parentheses and multiply them. So this is -4 equals a. So this is -2 plus 3. So -2 plus 3, because a negative makes a positive. -2 plus 3 is 1. Negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. So this is 1 times negative 4. I'm going to clean it up even more. There we go. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. So this is negative 4 is equal to negative 4a. So I'm just putting that negative 4 in front of the a value. At this point, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4, and I find that positive 1 is equal to a. So now that I know what my a value is, I can rewrite this equation in intercept form of y equals a, which you can write as the number 1 if you would like, times x minus your p-value, so that's minus negative 3, times x minus q, so that's x minus 2. Cleaning it up a little bit, I'm going to make my negative negative a plus sign, and this is my final answer of y equals 1 times x minus 3, x plus 3, times x minus 2. All right, the next two problems are the exact same, and what I would like you guys to please do is try each of these problems on your own. One is asking you to write the equation in given intercepts, and the other one is giving you information about the vertex. And I want you to figure out which form makes the most sense. And when you have an answer, go ahead and restart the video, and we will see how well you did. All right, so our x-intercepts in this case are negative 2, 0, and 1, 0. And since they're giving you x-intercepts, chances are you should write your equation in intercept form of y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. So in this case, I know that my p value is equal to negative 2, my q value is equal to 1, my x value is equal to negative 1, and my y value is equal to negative 4. And now what I need to do is I need to find what a is. So I'm going to write y, which is negative 4, equals a, which I do not know yet, times x is negative 1, minus p, so that's minus negative 2, times x, which is negative 1, minus q, so that's minus 1. Next, I'm going to clean up my parentheses. And I have negative 4 is equal to a times negative 1 plus 2 is 1, and negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, so this is 4 equals negative 2a. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2, and I find that 2 is equal to a. So now that I know that a is equal to 2, I'm going to write my equation of y is equal to 2 times x minus p, so that's minus negative 2, times x minus q, so that's x minus 1. Cleaning up my negative negative, I'm going to make that a plus sign, and there's my answer. And finally, we have example number 4. In this case, they gave us a vertex, so that should be your clue that we're probably going to write this in vertex form. And remember that vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And in this case, they tell us that our h value is equal to 2, our k value is equal to 1, our x value is equal to 0, and our y value is equal to 4. So I just need to find what a is. So y is 4, equals a, I don't know that yet, x times x is 0, minus h is 2, squared, then plus your k value in this case is 1. So 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So I'm just going to do one step at a time. So I have a times negative 2 squared plus 1. Negative 2 squared is 4, so I can rewrite this term as 4a. So 4 is equal to 4a plus 1. I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides, and by doing that, we find that 3 is equal to 4a. Dividing both sides by 4, we find that a is equal to 3/4. So our equation is going to be y equals a, which is 3/4, times x minus h, which is 2, squared, then plus k, which is plus 1. And there's your answer, as well as the end of this video. Like I said to you guys before, this next part is requires you to have a graphing calculator, and we are going to do that together in class. If you have any questions over anything, please feel free to email me or let me know the next time I see you. Otherwise, I will talk to you next time.